Hey guys, happy Friday. Happy Friday before the 4th of July. Hope you guys are having a great Friday, a great almost weekend, and you're here because you love comics, right? You better be,
Right.
because you're about to love them even if you don't know.
You're about to learn about comics from the future,
Yes,
Yes.
the
comics from the
upcoming
future.
ones.
So this is our weekly Friday show where we preview and you can pre-order upcoming comics. My name's Megan. This is Andy and Jason. We're from a comic shop in Chattanooga, Tennessee called Infinity Flux. So yeah, let's dive right into it. You guys can comment or send us a message if you see any comic that you like and want to talk about with us. So
I had us on the preview world screen already.
yeah, I know you're confused.
We're
me.
antsy. We're ready to
Getting a little
go.
ahead
You
of
want to get to
ourselves.
the end already? No, we got to start at the beginning.
Oh, we can still explain it now, I guess.
Yeah, so as you guys are getting on, let us know you're here, whether it's on YouTube or on Facebook with us live, and we will jump into it.
Okay, so every week we do a giveaway. It's usually a number one and its variant. This week is no different. We're giving away X Factor number one and its variant. All you have to do to win the giveaway is you have to reserve your copy with us. We don't want to give it away to somebody who doesn't want it. You need to like our page and share this video. So this comic comes out in 3 weeks. That's our giveaway for this week. Last week's giveaway, which we're going to announce the winner now, was for Batman number 95 and the variant.
Yep.
We always announce the winner from the previous week on our show. So who won Batman number 95?
This week, our winner is John Reed. Congratulations.
Yay.
All right, yeah.
The copy that you reserved with us will be free for you. So thank you guys whoever you are, who pre-order with us. We really appreciate it. You help our business continue to grow and all that good stuff. So thank you. And I'm going to share to some pages now. But yeah, as Jason said, our giveaway this week is for X Factor number one and the variant.
Yep, and once again, for those of you just tuning in, to be a part of the giveaway, all you have to do is reserve your copy with us, like our page, and share this video. We will announce the winner on the next Comics from the Future at
Next
1
Friday.
p.m. next Friday.
All right. I'm not going to share quite yet because I'm
You
the
got
first.
one early?
Yeah, I got an early one this time.
It's okay. I'll tell them about previews. Well,
Okay, cool.
So every week we pick out about 4 comics a piece to go over that are coming out in 3 weeks. But there's many more comics than that are releasing. So if you want to see the other comics or you want to follow along with some of the ones that we're going to go over, all you have to do is go to Previews World, and under Catalog, you go under Final Order Due, and you can see all the other comics, whether you're watching this live or watching it later, and any that you want, even the ones we're not talking about, just contact us, let us know, and we can get that done for you.
It's always a good thing to check out because, yeah, we do pick out a couple, but there are tons and tons.
Yeah, and comics are just ramping back up right now. Unfortunately, DC, they have left Previews World, so if you want to find out DC stuff coming up, you have to go to DC Connect. But now that Marvel's sort of ramping back up, I mean, back in March, before all this, I mean, there was probably like 90 new comics on that every single week. So I think we're back to at least like 40 or 50.
Well, stay tuned though, because there is actually a new way that you can find out what DC titles are being released and sign up for them with a little kind of previews guide. So we're going to show that to you guys later in the show.
Okay.
All right, y'all, a few of you have already asked to sign up for X Factor, which is great. So let me tell you a little bit about what it is. So the series is focused on the latest mutant ability that has been revealed, which is resurrection. And X Factor are a team who investigate horn out there. They investigate the killings of mutants, and they determine basically if if it's something, they don't avenge the deaths, but they determine if it is a cause for resurrection. So they are working very closely with the Five. So yeah, that's what this is about. This is the artist from Domino and the writer of Amazing Mary Jane. So titles that have sold really well. And
I'm excited about this one because Wolverine's son, Dakin or Dakin, however you want to say it, he hasn't been seen in quite a while. He was killed
I didn't realize
years
he's
ago.
on the team.
Yeah,
okay, that's
very
him at the top. All right.
I
He's got some work done.
Yeah, he's looking a little different now, but Yeah, I think it's an interesting team of characters. We got Rachel Gray and Polaris.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's Polaris. You see the green and
Yeah.
the yellow, and you know who that is.
Yeah, maybe is it Sunspot might be on the team. Anyways, it looks really cool. The old series was really good with Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man, was the leader of this investigation team.
Poor Multiple Man. Things never end up well
No,
for him.
he has a very
He
tragic
has died
life.
so many times.
Yeah, so this series, it was originally planned out to be more of a murder mystery sort of series, but because of the interest in the Five and the resurrection capabilities, they decided to go more in that direction. So X Factor will be reporting to the Five a lot in this series. So
And the Five are a cool thing that we don't know a whole lot about. They're basically 5 mutants that, because of their different abilities, when they're brought together, they can pretty much recreate a mutant that has died and fill their memories back in and everything. And it was really thought out well. Jonathan Hickman did a good job of being like, if we'd use these people, given their abilities, they could make another human. So I'm looking forward to this, maybe explaining that a little bit further.
we definitely need a new X series as comics are starting back up.
Yes.
So this is the Lou Pacino Marvel Zombies variant. So if you prefer one or the other, just let us know in the comments or through a message, and we will reserve it for you.
Continuing on with Marvel, it is Jason's Empire Corner. I've been going all over. I've been going on
Yeah, you're
over all
the
the
Empire
Empire
man.
stuff. So this has turned into a weekly series because it got so behind, and that's
Wow.
why every week, I have something to talk about. So I'm going to be discussing Empire number 3, even though number 1 is still not out.
And you read it, and now you
I
have to
did.
keep holding back
I
spoilers.
do. I have to keep. So they sent us retailers an advance copy, and I read number 1, and I'm not going to tell you all the spoilers. I'll say this much: things are not as obvious as they seem. I mean, this has been billed to us as the Skrulls and the Kree come together, and it is not that simple at all. And by the end of issue 1, you will see that. So in issue number 3, the invasion, whatever that is, wink, wink, it reaches Earth, and the Fantastic Four and the Avengers have to come together to fight it, which we've seen before. It doesn't happen every day, but it does happen. This is being written by Dan Slott and Al Ewing. Dan Slott has done a lot of these big books that bring in a lot of characters. He's done a lot with Spider-Man in the past with that.
Yep.
Al Ewing is known for Immortal Hulk and Avengers No Surrender, all that. So he also has done these big team books. So we got 2 really top-notch writers on it. It's going to have 4 open order variants. We have the action figure one. We have the Lozano Avenger variant. We've got the
Skrull variant.
Super Skrull on the one,
cool.
of course, and you have the Cho variant down there with.
That's cool, because the last one we had was Invisible Woman.
Yeah,
And now we have
Fantastic
Johnny Storm.
Four.
Eventually going to be all of them, which he's done before. Which he does a good job of it.
Yeah, it looks like, I'm so used to seeing covers from Cho, which are so awesome, but he's adding a little bit of, I don't know, warmth to his style a bit there. I've noticed a little bit of change in his style the last couple of issues.
They also claim in this issue a long lost Avenger is going to return. So I was seeking it on the covers. I was like, is it? And it's not revealed on these covers. I will say the one with Black Panther there, it looks like he's fighting against the Panther things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. So going along with that, Marvel has a lot of tie-ins. Honestly, not as many.
No, they cut back
do.
quite a few. I think there was supposed to be way more, and they kind of condensed it, which should be good.
So this is the first tie-in. It's Empire Captain America #1. This is going to be a 3-issue tie-in, and in it, Captain America is looking for allies as the invasion sort of moves across the globe. That's all it's revealed. Not a whole lot is revealed about what will go on in that one. There is a Steve Epstein variant.
It's nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the other tie-in for Empire is Savage Avengers Empire. Now, I really like Savage Avengers.
I'm excited
that
about
was
this one.
super popular.
And they even have the writer for it, Jerry Dugan, is writing this one. He's done a lot of really good Conan. If Jerry Dugan was not a huge Conan fan, I'd be surprised because I think he writes him just right. So in this, and I have to say, I couldn't find out if this is a one shot or not. I think it's a one shot.
Okay.
But in this, Conan is captured and enslaved by some kind of force, and it's up to Venom to save him. So very.
They just picked like the two like cool guy heroes. And they're like, let's just see what these guys do in a situation
I
like
mean,
this.
they got me with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good hook. So I mean, first off, you don't want to capture Conan. I've read a lot of things where he's captured. Even without help, he's gonna get away and kill you. It might
Yeah.
take years. He may work out the whole time, but you'll regret it.
Yeah.
But now you're throwing Venom in it, and it has a variant by Sandoval.
Yeah, that one's really
Cool.
action-packed, really cool.
So that's your weekly dose of upcoming Empire. I can't wait until I can talk about what really is
I
going
was about
on.
to say, once we can talk about number one, all of this may make more sense.
Yeah. A few of you have told us in the past that you want to get everything Empire, and we will get that for you. But if you feel like confirming those sentiments, just let us know.
There are hints on these covers. I will say that. Nothing
Mhm.
more, but there are hints as to what's really going on.
Cool.
And now,
Oh, I remember reading this.
I know, it's like, this is the
Blast
one.
from the past.
I know. This was, it feels like a really long time ago that I read Cable number one. And Cable's one of my favorite X-Men characters. I love the whole 90s X-Men time frame. I think it's one of the best. And this is Cable number two. So this is the young version of Cable that we've seen. What was the event that he came back from the past to kill his older self because his older self said,
Was that back with him in Deadpool?
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, now we have the young, cooler, sleeker, younger Cable, who's still pretty Cable-like. He's still pretty violent and pretty.
He's younger, but still has the scars. The scars
still-
happened early.
Yeah.
Emotional and physical scarring. And so in this, if I can remember the first issue, which I read like 3 months ago,
March.
he's living on Krakoa, and he's been investigating some children going missing. This continues on with that. There was a twist at the end where maybe, I'm not going to completely spoil it, but it's been out for like 4 months now. His older self is not as dead as you would have thought. Also because there is a child that said, oh, Cable killed me, and he's like, I'm Cable, and they're like, no, old Cable. And he's like, oh, that's...
Interesting.
That throws a kink in my plan. Also, he's kind of dealing with a love life now, which is something I never thought Cable would be about. So this story's called Love and Violence, and he's also dating the five Cuckoo sisters,
Yeah.
the clones. It sounds crazy, and I wasn't a huge fan initially of the young Cable, because I just love old, grouchy Cable. But I read number one of this, and I was like, this is way better than I thought it was. And once again, this is Jerry Dugan doing this.
Yeah.
So he is just killing it on his X books.
I pretty much read anything that he writes.
And Phil Noto, who did this cover, is also doing interiors on this. So if you haven't checked out number one, I suggest you still check out number one.
Yeah, that number one, it was the first thing that really got me interested in the younger Cable.
Yeah, I'd read him in some team books, but he hadn't been highlighted too much in them. And then I read this, and I was like, oh, this is a way more complex character.
One other thing about this, the thing that grabs me about it is he's holding a
The
sword.
sword.
Yeah.
I just thought of it.
How
They're
as
about
that.
to do Sword of X. Like, I guess, I mean, that's got to be
Yeah.
a part of it.
We've seen swords kind of pop up here and there on covers. We're like, that's odd. That and I remember in the first issue, they have a gladiatorial fight, and there's a sword involved in that. So it looks like this is a really good place if you're planning on reading the Sword of X crossover series coming up that we still don't know a whole lot about.
I think that's good for them to pepper it in. Like, too often they just kind of launch into a big crossover. I like it when it sort of creeps in. Giving you time to see.
To kind of
why
get the
you should
ideas
care.
of what the elements are before
Yeah.
they get revealed. And then we have the Marvel Zombie variant cover, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
With like, ooh, Storm does not look in good
Poor
shape.
Storm.
No, there's some nastiness looking on there. So.
Oh, this is David Yarden variant cover too. All these the zombie variant covers are very disturbing.
Mhm.
I know there's a Wolverine one coming up too.
It all harkens to the fact, they brought Marvel Zombies back in the little one-shot
Yeah.
thing, but they are going to have another series coming up.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be hinted in the new What If TV show too. They're supposed to bring the Marvel Zombies.
Oh, that's perfect.
So yeah, it's really cool.
All right.
It is Marvel.
Another blast from the past.
We're making up for weeks of no
Yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah, we're doing all our Marvel, and then we'll hit some DC, and then go over some other interesting things at the end. But yeah, Spider-Man Noir is back, just like Cable. Everything is coming back.
These number twos are like number ones.
Exactly, like it all over again. So we still have some issues of number 1 on the shelf. This is, if you don't know, if you didn't see Into the Spider-Verse or haven't read any Spider-Man Noir, this is an alternate reality Peter Parker set in the 1930s, and it's a lot pulpier, obviously, with the Noir title.
And feel free, if you read it, to hear Nicolas Cage's voice.
It's actually
I can't
encouraged.
help but read or hear Nicolas Cage's voice. So, as you can tell in the art, it is, very much noir style. So this story centers around a dame being killed at the Black Cat nightclub. And traditionally, Spider-Man Noir has always stayed in New York City. But all the clues to finding this murder point overseas, so he takes a trip to Europe. So this is taking him out of his element, but it's still in that just great style with the, banter and the humor, putting jokes to some evil. So this is a good pickup. We still have plenty of the number 1 if you miss out. So you can pick that up.
Does that not have a variant cover at all?
It does not.
That is shocking.
I know. I'm shocked.
Okay.
But it's a really nice cover.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so no, it does not have a variant.
What I'm excited about this series is we've had some Spider-Man Noir in the past. Mostly he was in the Spider-Verse crossover that inspired the movie. But I'm excited to see the other noir versions of the characters. I know they hit
Yeah.
a Black Cat, some villains. I always like seeing that, like, you take this world, okay, what do the other characters look like in this world?
The art is really fantastic in this.
Oh,
You
it's
just
great.
have almost like full to half page spreads of action and all that. So it's a good one.
Okay, so still Marvel, but a different
We're getting
property
to
altogether.
DC.
But yeah, this is a different part of the Marvel universe. It hasn't,
They're partitioned.
Yeah. We have Star Wars Darth Vader number 3 is finally coming out. I've been really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
So this series, it's written by Greg Pak. It takes place after Empire Strikes Back. Vader has learned that Luke is his son, and he is angry. He goes after every person who has hid this from him. That is the point of the series.
You don't want to get in the way of that investigation.
Yeah, he's heading to Naboo, and who is that with him? So I know, like you said, Andy, this has been out for months and months, but I can't bring myself to reveal the surprise. If you haven't read number 1 or number 2, I'm going to give you one more chance. Get into it, because when number 4 comes out, if I review it, I will spill the beans.
Oh, right out the gate, like no warning, it is flooding out.
Yeah, I mean, who is that with Vader? It's really interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, and we do still have plenty of copies of number 1 on the shelf. There's actually a second printing of number 2 available on you can see it on Previews World if you want to grab it, and then number 3, so you can still catch up.
Yeah,
Don't think.
That's what's good. Is this is issue 3? We're still early on.
Yeah.
But it is. Star Wars have been
issue
great.
1, his ally from the past appears in. Issue 2, you will find out who it is, and now issue 3, they're going forward.
Yep.
It's amazing how good the Darth Vader series have been. I mean, we would talk about that the previous Darth Vader series was one of the best comics coming out. Like, it's crazy for what people would traditionally consider a movie tie-in or whatever. That
Vader, he might be dead, but he is held in reverence because he's one of the greatest villains that has ever been created.
And one of the most complex, and I think you see that a lot in here.
So it has a variant cover by Chris Sprouse. I would also like to say that Darth Vader #2 has a second print you can view on Previews World. So if you didn't get the first print or you want every print of it, it has a new cover. We don't have a screen for that, but that is on Previews World.
Oh, and what is this?
It's not just
DC
Marvel.
time.
It's not just Marvel. So, just like Jason does the Empire, I guess I have the Dark Knight's Death Metal. And so we've only got #1 so far, but this is for #3. So we know all we know just from #1, but that's enough to kind of figure out there's some crazy stuff going on. Even seeing Superman on this cover, if we kind of know where Superman is, he's kind of a prisoner right now. This kind of reveals a little bit. And when they talk about it in the solicitations, the Justice League gets together to try and break Superman out of whatever prison he's in. If you've read it, you know that it's not a normal jail cell, because that doesn't tend to work for Superman too well.
Yeah.
And what I thought was interesting, they say that the deepest secret of the Batman Who Laughs is revealed.
Huh.
I mean, what darker secrets can such a terrible person have?
I almost feel like Batman. I almost feel like Batman Who Laughs would be the sort who would love to tell you his secrets.
I know.
Right away.
It's like, does he have anything that he's embarrassed of? So, if you haven't read #1, it is fantastic. I think we still have a few variants left.
We placed a reorder of that.
Hopefully they
Should
give it to
be
you.
able send.
Hopefully, but I mean, everyone who's read #1 so far is like, that was awesome. I dare to say this could be better than the previous Metal series. I just love the setup. There's also, DC released a interactive map of this death metal world that is really, really cool, where you scroll over different areas. It is like the map in the front of a fantasy novel, where you just like pour over the different sections. And seeing that, I'm like, oh, I want to explore this world more. I want to see what the Mr. Freeze has a tower of sorrow in this like frozen tundra and stuff. So if you're a fan of like even like dark fantasy, like that's in the DC universe, which I think is awesome. So yeah, this is the cover A. Then we have this beautiful art germ Supergirl, which I think is interesting because I'm not sure if we saw.
Yeah, if she was in one, she didn't have a prominent part yet.
No, so to put her on a variant cover, I feel like we're gonna see what she's up to. And then we have the David Finch. If it's anything like the Aquaman, it will be in color. It just, for some reason, it takes a little while to get the color cover. But if you know anything about what's going on with Wally West, it's hard to see in this image, but he does have the Dr. Manhattan symbol on his forehead. He's still carrying that kind of...
Which somebody else had that symbol.
Someone else had that.
#1.
In a very, very last panel.
Yeah.
So he's got the weight and somewhat abilities of Dr. Manhattan. So when this gets colored, he's got like the blue suit on and everything. I've loved these Finch covers. Then this one is super interesting. This is a character that is going to premiere in issue 2, which I think, if the Batman Who Laughs was big, I think this is the Robin King.
Robin King, yeah.
And boy, howdy, does he look like a twisted character from like a Alice Cooper concert.
Yeah, or Jared Leto, he really wanted to do Joker, and he did his version. I could more see him doing this.
Yes.
Somehow.
So I believe the Robin King is supposed to make his first appearance in issue 2, which will be coming out really soon. But this is, we had that Punchline variant cover that was huge, where it was kind of her first time on a cover. I think this is going to be big, because the way they talk about this character looks really, really creepy. And I could see him going forward and being another big one.
I mean, we saw what happened with Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Yeah, still seeing, still exploding. And also, I thought it was a funny thing. It mentioned that the return of everyone's favorite wannabe Robin. And it made me think, if you read Justice League, Jarro, the little baby Starro that wants to be like Batman's best friend, and he has a dream where he is Robin. Like, okay, I hope he shows up because that's a funny character.
I mean, they draw from such interesting places.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And is there? Oh, and then here we have what we mentioned earlier on. So, if you, as we've talked about the stuff with Diamond, and now DC's with Lunar, Diamond makes the previews catalog. So DC's no longer with them, and we were wondering how are we going to get this information about what's coming out.
It's been hard to tell you guys to some degree what's coming out from DC. So
we would have to do some deep diving ourselves to just figure out dates of things. Well, DC is going to be putting out these. I guess they're like checklists.
Checklist mini poster type.
Yeah,
things.
probably going to be comic size.
I'm thinking about the size of comic shop news.
Yes,
ish. That's my guess.
Yeah, we're still waiting to get in number one of this. And this will be a way you'll be able to see what's coming out for the upcoming weeks. It's too bad it doesn't have images of the covers or anything, but at least you'll know the titles and the expected dates. You know, dates will always fluctuate here and there, but in general, they stay the same. So this will be a thing that comes out, is it monthly?
Not sure yet. So this is super new.
Yes,
news
we're still
sharing
learning
with
about
you.
this.
Yeah, but we wanted you guys to be informed to know that DC does have something coming down the pipeline for you to be able to use the guidepost and sign up for things in advance, just like, but different from the previous guide.
It'll be a quick reference
it's a very pared down news guide, but if you want to see the covers, keep tuning in to Comics from the Future.
Because that's the goods we bring you.
Sometimes we get covers the day of.
Yes. Yeah, I know for the Death Metal #3.
Yeah, those just became available last night. So, yeah we try to get it the most up to date.
So those will be coming out, and we should have some available. I don't know if we know yet how many come or whatever, but we'll keep you updated on those.
If you're a regular on the show, we will definitely hold some aside for you. So, all right, more Walking Dead stuff.
What? It feels like we would never talk about that again.
I know. So this is, how many of you picked this up during local comic shop day? I believe it was released. It was also released digitally, but this is the first time it's collected in hardcover format. Hopefully I have a price here for you. This is $19.99, and like I said, it is hardcover. It's written by Brian K. Vaughan, and this actually follows the story of Jeffrey Grimes, who is Rick's younger brother.
That he just always fails to mention.
Yeah, that never comes up.
Wait, what is his name?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, okay.
So, it is set in Barcelona, Spain. So it's a completely different landscape for the zombie apocalypse, and it is just really neat that this is coming out right after Negan Lives was released, which we still have a couple copies of, by the way. I'm shocked. Y'all did such a good job pre-ordering, but we still do have a couple copies of that if you were on the lookout for it. But if you want to keep the Walking Dead momentum going, if you did not get to check out the Alien when it was released for local comic shop day, this is the hardcover version.
Is it oversized?
I don't think it's sad. I think it's something pretty. Since it's $20, it's probably just a regular ish size. So
I really like this story. I got to read it.
Good.
It's really cool. Brian K. Vaughan, like the only other person to ever get to do a Walking Dead story.
You know, Robert Kirkman must have really approved of it. So if you, like I said, if you want to keep the Walking Dead momentum alive, because I do think there will be more about Negan in the future. So
there was an article on that today.
Yeah, you were telling me.
Robert Kirkman was hinting he might do another thing like Negan Lives, but for Clementine from the video games.
Yep. So
you heard it here, hopefully first. If not first, probably second. I have to say, so I didn't get a chance to read this. I need to check it out. But in a universe that's as scary as Walking Dead, now you have to worry about aliens too?
I know.
I know.
He's joking.
Why don't you read it and find out?
UFOs are coming down. All right.
Okay, so from Image Comics, there is a new ongoing series called Lost Soldiers, and it's by a comics team I haven't heard of. Maybe you two have heard of them. I want to get the names right. It is Alice Cott, Luca Casalanguida. That's an awesome name to say. Luca Casalanguida and Heather Moore. It takes place in two time periods. It's in 1969 in Vietnam, And then 40 years later, as three soldiers back from them, they return to Vietnam. They return to the place where the war took place, and apparently there's some kind of new war brewing.
Mm.
And I don't think they're being. I think they're being a bit metaphorical. I don't think
Yeah.
it's like an actual new war. That's all the details on it. That and this interesting cover.
Yeah.
Alice Cott is an interesting writer. He did the book. It was called Zero, from I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago. It's really good. He does very war that kind of either war or espionage kind of real world stuff really really well. I forget some of the others. I've read a few of his books, and it's really good if you're into that. A little bit more realistic. Occasionally, I think he puts a little sci-fi or something in there, but usually it's pretty grounded, gritty characters.
And it is just comes with the one cover, not a million variants or anything like that. So.
I think there is a previews exclusive on that
Oh
as well.
yes,
So
there is.
if you
Thanks for
want to
mentioning
check out
that.
the first few pages,
Yep.
you can
That's
do that
cool.
on Previews World.
And this, you probably saw before, but me being the big Masters of the Universe fan, had to bring it up. This was He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse. It is finally getting collected in a trade paperback form. It's 6 issues for $17.99. And if you didn't get a chance to read this, I know a lot of people found out about it after the fact and tried to go back, and it was hard to get some of the issues back in stock. It's almost like a DC Crisis book with the multiple realities, but in the Master of the Universe world. And that goes as far as you have the original, like, pack-in comics that came with the figures, where He-Man's more like Conan, teaming up with the cartoon version from the 80s TV show, who is always quick to give you a life lesson after he does something about be careful crossing streets. And the main character is a version of Skeletor that didn't turn evil. This was a really, really awesome series by Tim Seeley, who is a big fan himself. So if you did not get a chance to check this out, there's even talks about a spin-off from this with a team of He-Men from multiple realities. So check this out if you're a fan.
Yeah, I read this, and this was really fun. I'll also say that it's fairly adult. It's written for people who grew up reading He-Man.
Yeah.
There's killing in it.
Yeah.
So they don't hold back.
Yeah, good sense of humor, but still kind of for a classic fan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I added this in last minute. Cruel Summer, Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips. We have showcased a lot of their stuff on this show and in the shop. I have actually never read Criminal. I've read so much of the... It's Criminal, I know.
You learned about Brubaker and Phillips late.
Through Bad Weekend and My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies. Those are excellent reads that we always keep in stock. But this, for the first time ever collected in hardcover, is going to be Criminal 1 and then 5 through 12, which is, cohesive storylines for $34.99. If you have picked up those other titles from us, and like me, maybe have been a little bit away from Criminal and that universe, like this is... I'm definitely going to read this. Mm-hmm. It's a required reading if you have enjoyed the other stuff. So I slid this in here. It's going to be a nice, beautiful hardcover as usual, but thicker because there's more issues involved. So, yeah, if you've liked that, you'll want to take this
I love these covers they've been doing, too. They all have that like very centered character.
And they all have a cigarette in their mouth pointed at different angles. So I wonder if that's been thought out. And I
put them all together and it reveals something.
Maybe. So we will definitely have this in stock, but if you want to go ahead and pre-order, let us know.
I can't help but think of the 80s song "Cruel Summer,"
I
and I wanted where when you open the cover,
Cruel
you get just the chorus as you open.
Well, what's that? Keep going. I wasn't sure about that.
I don't know the rest of the
song.
I think that's all everybody knows about it. Okay, so this new book is called Arc World, and it's a #1. And I had to do some research on it. I wanted to know because it's a $7.99 book, and they didn't say in Previews World how big it was.
Mm-hmm.
So this was originally a Kickstarter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they did it in prestige size, but now it's being released in regular comic size. The Kickstarter was a triple size issue, so I'm assuming that this one is as well, and that's why they cover $7.99. The premise is interesting. The people behind it claim it's going to start a new archaeopunk genre.
Oh, I've been waiting for that.
Well, I'll tell you. So, you say that, but it took George Lucas and Steven Spielberg to make archaeologists cool.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
to show us, imagine them pitching that if they weren't already famous with other things. Like, man, this archaeologist, he's like an action-adventure guy.
No, like
Indiana Jones.
I mean, those guys who sit in dirt with little shovels and
well,
brushes.
Hey, stop there, though. It starts out, and he's a teacher. Even better, even more exciting. So, I mean, who knows? But interestingly enough, so this takes place in 11,000 BCE. So way in the past. And
you could have just thrown a dart at any number at that point. We don't know.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of what it's about. So there's all this advanced technology that has somehow been lost. And the story follows two characters, and it kind of shows you what happens to this culture and this technology and why we these days wouldn't know anything about it anymore.
That sounds cool.
It has 3 variant covers that are $9.99 a piece. So if you're well-to-do and need it all, there are those.
Yeah, I kind of labeled it here. I did the screens this week, and it's A, B, C, D, just for ease.
Yeah, so the A cover $7.99, B, C, and D are each $9.99 of Arc World #1.
Cool.
And then this was a last-minute thing that they just put up there. We knew it was coming out, but I don't know if we had an exact release date. But like I talked about He-Man before, here's another great 80s property.
Yeah.
A lot of people are fans of Mega Man, which is a beautiful cover. I love this cover.
Got the Mega Buster front and
yes,
ready to shoot.
So this is actually in the world. There's a newer TV show called Mega Man Fully Charged. But this claims that this is a great jumping on point. It's just set in that version, I guess, those designs of the characters. But it's an all-new story. And it's kind of I'm not sure if it's going all the way back to an origin, but it's kind of early Mega Man. Him coming to terms with his human self and his robot self. Who knew we'd get that deep of a story from that game where you just run around and...
So that means Dr. Light's probably going to be in this.
Yeah, he was mentioned along with the other the Robot Masters are featured in it too. So maybe you'll see Mega Man change his costume to a bunch of different colors and some different powers. But I think this is really cool. I hope they continue with this trend of taking some of these properties and doing these kind of like let's pull the narrative out and get into the story of these.
What company is publishing this?
I believe that I did not write it down.
Yeah, I can't remember right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure who owns that property right now.
No.
Or who would license it from Capcom.
I was about to say I'm not gonna make a guess because then I'll be wrong and I'll feel bad.
We'll figure it out later.
But yes, that was the A cover. There are some variant covers, but Previous World did not have those up yet.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Your orders are due Monday at 5 p.m. this Monday, July 6th. So just shoot us a message before then, and you are welcome to check out Previews World right before the due time of 5 p.m. And if those covers are up, you can let us know then.
Yep.
So, but yeah, this is how you access that site. Just Previews World, catalog, final orders due, and soon we will have the DC posters for you to have a checklist from them as well.
Yep. And even if you're watching this video later, we also repost this on YouTube. You can still be a part of our contest. Although I guess if you were going to be a part of our contest on YouTube, you'd have to get back on Facebook. Because our contest is for X Factor #1 and the variant.
Yep.
You just have to like the page, share the video, and order a copy through us. And we will announce the winner next Friday at 1 p.m. on the next Comics from the Future.
Garrett just told me that it's
Boom.
Studio.
That's what I just put on my phone. I was like, wait, who is it? Oh, it's Boom.
Garrett,
I should have known that.
He told us. Thanks,
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, that seems like their thing.
So yeah, our other shows are on Tuesdays. We get in the new comics, take a break, and at some point in the day tell you about them. So make sure to to get notifications so you can be notified when we go live. And then our other show is on Sunday at 1 p.m. and that's where we sell really awesome things. And it's fun to watch even if you want to buy something collectible or not. We try to make it accessible to all. And we've been buying all sorts of collections lately. So
Yep. And if you don't live in the Chattanooga area, we ship all over the country. So just contact us any which way and we can set that up for you.
Yeah, be sure to check out that Tuesday show though, because people are really liking that. Where we're telling you about books that are coming out right then.
Right then.
If
yep.
if it's a DC book, it comes out that day, or anything else comes out the next day. So it's kind of your first chance to hear our unspoilerific opinions about the books coming out, and if something is something you need to grab right away. So
Yep. I think we're the first to preview some of that stuff, like in the country. So.
Well, we feel real good about ourselves. So I hope
Oh,
you
okay.
do too. I hope you do too. Anyway, I hope you all have a really, really good weekend. We will be open all weekend, 12 to 7 as usual. So if you need a game or if you need a book or anything, just swing by and we will hook you up. Stay safe and we will hopefully see you soon.
Yep. Thanks for joining us.